Ladies and gentlemen, we're back with the Danger Ranger podcast. This is episode 51, or maybe 52. Round 2 recording. This first time we did it was last week, and the recording cut out 20 seconds in after we'd already been talking for about an hour and finished. And so we're running it again. We're here with Brock Brown, my Ranger buddy from ACO 175, and well, I guess kind of business partner now. We'll get into that at the end. Yep. Doing a bunch of cool stuff together. And he's been on the channel before. We did a range video, if you guys remember, February of like 23, almost a year and a half ago now. We were just doing Ranger stuff, you know, range day, typical stuff. And he's here to talk about his experience in Regiment, obviously. And then he was also, you know, an older Ranger. And I know I get a lot of questions about older Rangers joining. So we'll talk about all that and we'll get into it. So, Brock, a little introduction.
Yeah, a little bit about me. I was born and raised here in Utah, so a little town called Payson. Grew up playing sports, wrestled pretty much all my life, all the way into like college days, you could say. Like I wrestled in a couple college tournaments. But yeah, other than that, I played football, baseball, soccer, everything that probably typical athlete do growing up, all the like sports.
Try them all out.
Yeah, try them all out. But also did a lot of like camping as well. We'd go and camp. We'd go to Lake Powell and then like actually camp on the beach, not just like houseboat camp.
Houseboats are underrated.
But then we'd go to like Grand Gulch and whatnot and actually like do like a 3-day, 4-day like ruck your shit in and like pitch a tent and camp and whatnot. So it was pretty cool. Growing up, some of those memories were some of the funnest. We'd have like a neighborhood, a neighbor that was like a really close family friend that they had kids that were very similar in age, and we'd go and camp with them all the time. It was super fun. So yeah, but after that, I just kind of did a whole bunch of trade jobs, just trying to figure out what I wanted to do with life. Didn't really figure anything out, and then met Neil Curry, and probably like 5 years into our friendship, I'd say, we sat down and kind of like talked about Ranger Regiment, and that's when I kind of pulled the trigger on going to Regiment. So
okay, and you were 27 at the time.
Yeah.
So old.
Now, old.
If I'm 25, can I still join the Ranger Regiment? Yes, you can.
Yep.
He's 27. You didn't. So you did a little bit of college, or you did like a couple of classes, and you're like, nah, screw this.
Yeah, pretty much. I went to college just so that I could play rugby and get on the roster. So I think I went to like one class. That was it. So
hell yeah.
Yeah.
So joined at 27, and obviously talking to Neil kind of swayed you in the direction of Regiment.
Yep.
Is that what you wanted the whole time, or did you think about SF or Marine Corps or anything like that? Or
no, it was Regiment. When I went to talk to Neil, it was, all right, what do I do to get to this place? And he's like, oh, that's Regiment. And I was like, okay, how do I get there? He said, option 40. So he had a recruiter buddy of his that he recommended, talked with him, and they didn't have a option 40 at the time. And so I was like, okay, well, let me know when you do.
When you got it. That's the key. So all you guys that are like, my recruiter says there's no more option 40s, it's a tactic to get you to sign up then. And they'll say, oh, you can get it in OSID or you can get an airborne. It's like, you can, but that's like a super gamble. Like if you know you want to go to Regiment, I've said this a billion times, get it in hand before you ship. Yep. Get it. If you want infantry, get an infantry contract. Don't be like, oh, it's a 13 Fox contract. Oh, it's basically infantry. Like, no, if you want infantry, get infantry. If you want to do 13 Fox, that's fine, or medic or something like that. But get it in hand. It's mostly a stalling tactic used by recruiters. If they don't have one like right there, it's more work for them to call HRC and be like, hey, I got a guy that wants an option 40, because they can just make them up on the spot essentially. From what I've kind of gathered over the years is like that shit's made up for the most part. Like there's always going to be infantry contracts, and yeah, that was a similar situation of mine. Like I didn't have it in hand going to MEPS, and I went to MEPS, and they were like, oh, we don't have any. Let me call HRC. They were able to get one, so I was able to sign the same day. But I was like, all right, I'm going to leave if they don't have it. Like, I wasted a MEPS trip here. Yeah. Like, whatever. Like, I'm going to wait. Like, you're not going to bully me into getting something that I don't want. So,
yeah, that's kind of one thing Neil said is just like, make sure that you have what you want in writing, because it's like when you go to the army and the big army, we all know the big army sucks because it's like they're by what is written down, and so it's like have what you want on paper, highlight it, make sure that it's there to a T, and so I did. I said,
Yep.
I'm not going to do anything with the military unless I have an option 40, the pipeline, and everything's lined up to go to regiment. And so they called me, I think it was like a week or two later, and they're just like, okay, let's take a test.
Oh, we got to hit our numbers by the end of the month.
Yep.
All right, I guess we'll give it to this guy.
Yep. So they had me come to a couple PT sessions in between.
Yeah, the old feature soldier program.
Oh yeah, and I crushed everybody in it. Like the dude was the recruiter actually had to run the program the week that I happened to be there, and I actually just destroyed him, even in the runs and all that stuff. And they're just like, okay,
All right,
this is a cool person to put through.
He'll be all right, maybe, if he can learn his Ranger history.
Yeah. So, yep, I had been preparing for it, so I was ready to go.
What did you do to kind of get ready? Did you do any rucking? Did you just run?
Mine was more running based. I knew that coming from my background of being like more bodybuilding type, I had been in the bodybuilding competitions, and so I had enjoyed building a physique that wasn't necessarily conditioned for like Ranger operating.
Right.
So once I sat down and started talking with Neil, a little bit with the recruiter, I had changed up and started doing a lot of running. I started doing HIIT cardio, particularly. I'd go to the soccer field, I remember, and I'd do sprints and then walk a little bit and then sprints and then walk a little bit and sprints, just till I was like, all right, like I'd do 10 reps, take a long break, and then 10 reps again, and I'd be done for the day. And then it'd be a long run, just to like build different endurance.
Yeah.
And so it's like I knew that running was a huge thing. I hated running.
Mm-hmm.
But I was good at it because of freaking wrestling,
Yeah.
but I hated it. And so going back in, I knew that I needed to get into somewhat of that condition again. So it wasn't too hard, but at the same time, it was difficult changing and shedding some weight. So yeah. But once I did that going through, I don't think there was a single PT test that I didn't 300. I'm not trying to be cocky or anything like that, but I don't think there was one that I didn't. So.
Good, solid physical base is like the fucking thing. The bare minimum. You can be a fucking idiot, but if you can't do push-ups and you can't run, you know, the old smart ranger versus strong ranger. Like, as a smart ranger, you still got to be a strong ranger. Like you can be at least just a strong ranger. But you can't really get away with just being a smart ranger, unfortunately. Otherwise, you're going to get sent to nest shop. Or not even make it through RASP. So you shipped out pretty quick, like what, a couple weeks? Yeah, a couple weeks right after.
Right after it was just gone.
Right to Fort Benning, Georgia. We're not going to call it Fort Moore because fuck them. It will always be Fort Benning. You can't change the name.
Yep.
So rolling up 30th AG, everyone's favorite place in the world.
Miserable.
Love that place. The best taste of the Army you'll ever get. It's just shock, culture shock. And then obviously OSIT.
Yep.
Nothing really to say there. It's OSIT. Did you go through when they made it longer, or was it still like 19 weeks? I think.
I don't know. I think mine was probably right before they changed it.
Okay. Yeah, because I knew they switched it around the time you joined to make it longer for some reason.
Yeah.
So I made it through OSIT, and then you went to Airborne.
Yep.
Airborne was chill.
Everyone was super chill.
Yeah.
After going through basic and OSIT, it was just like they can't really do anything to you. Like they think that they can, but they try and make it sound like they can. Because most people are just like, okay, like freaking still play soldier. But at that point, I was just kind of like, yeah, you guys really can't do a lot. So I kind of saw through it. But I played the game because it was like there was information to be learned. But at the same time, I was just like, I wasn't too worried. Like, run, sing your songs when you're freaking running. Like, you're going to have some dude looking for some reason to take your tags or something that day just to get you in trouble. So it's like I played the games when I could, but at the same time, it was like when it was chill time, it was chill time.
Yeah.
So
Airborne, I think So coming in, I guess we'll kind of back up a little bit. Did you notice anything about being older when you're going through basic, airborne? Any kind of negatives? Any kind of positives? Did it help out? Did it hurt? Did it not make a difference?
I think it probably helped a little bit just because I had a little bit more life experience. Like coming in, instead of being a 19-year-old straight out of high school, kind of being like, okay, where's my next authority figure and what are they going to tell me to do and all that stuff. Whereas like coming in at 27, most of the cadre or most of the RIs of any instructing course was my same age. Like we were relative within 5 years. So it's like most of all the athletics that I've done, they'd be within 5 years of me. So it's like I've competed with probably people that same age and whatnot. And so it's like most of the time I went into it thinking, okay, what's the game of this? Probably more so than, oh shit, what's going on? So I think that definitely played a big role in some of the like Ranger School for say. Like that was a big place where it played a role because there was more at stake, whereas like basic there wasn't very much. So.
All right. And at this point in your career, were you married? Did you have a girlfriend? What was your kind of relationship situation?
So going in, I had a girlfriend, Kale, and we got married right before Airborne. No, right after Airborne. So we graduated Airborne right before we like split out and went to like RASP. We got married. So going into RASP, we knew that the military would pay for me to bring my family now at the time to wherever I got stationed.
Yeah.
So
it's a good game plan. I mean, make the Army pay for it, you know. I don't recommend necessarily getting married after it, but obviously you were older. How long were you dating before you guys got married?
We'd been dating for just a bit, so it was kind of quicker than typical.
Yeah.
We were dating for 5 months, 6 months.
Oh, okay.
So it was quicker.
That's pretty quick.
So, but at the same time, we were both older, and so it was like we were about it.
Yeah,
so,
it wasn't like in brand new private, 19 years old, showing up, marries his first girlfriend, or marries her before he goes to the freaking basic training, and then she cheats on him while he's there, and all that whole shit show. Yeah, so informed adult decisions were made.
Yes.
Very calculated. You're like, oh, we can get more money from the Army if we get married now, because then your BH started kicking in, I'm sure, pretty much right away, and then you're freaking.
And that was probably our biggest mistake is since now we're like looking at it, hindsight, we should have been like buying up properties because that's what we do now. If we would have started from the rip, I think that we could have probably added a couple more to our portfolio now, which would have been awesome. For sure. And so it's like we're kind of kicking ourselves because we bought houses out there and we're just like, this is going to be awesome. Let's just get one where it's like we could have capitalized.
Could have kept going,
So we're kind of kicking ourselves. But we did make some good decisions just because we did our move ourselves through the military. It's called, I believe, a Diddy move.
Yeah.
And so going through that, depending on how much weight you're transferring and the mileage, you'll get a certain payout. If that's what it costs to take all your stuff or not, the military calculated that is what it should take, so they'll pay you out that. So we made some money on that, both moving out there and moving back. So.
Of course,
Super smart idea. If you're getting married or you're married, think about that.
So rolling into RASP, how was that? We're laughing because we were literally just running through the same script we did last week.
RASP is an eye opener. I think it is the place where it's like
the gloves are kind of more off, and it's like, oh, this is real versus basic, where it has an air of like summer camp. Like to me, it felt like fucking scout camp a lot of the time, where it's like, oh, our fucking merit badge instructors are coming in to teach us today.
Like we'll go back to the cabin later. Like, everybody has to be somewhat protected. Where it's like day one, I believe, of RASP. We're sitting at Airborne. We've got our
like before
green
you even
bag,
go back in,
And all of a sudden the white van shows up. Like 3 cadre get out. They kind of they're nice. They're not super nice. They were nice to us.
Professional.
Yeah, they pull out. They had tan hats on. Pull out a freaking clipboard, start reading off names, put us at attention, whatnot. 2 of them get in the van. One of them takes off his tan hat, hands it in, and he goes, "Fall out, and you probably shouldn't be here." And also the van like takes off, and the dude is like, "You guys ready?" We're like, "What?"
What do you mean? What do you mean? Are you ready?
And he just takes off. And if I was to guess, it was probably
It's
like
like a
7:30-minute pace that you ran.
How
for like
far
a
is it from here?
mile
I'm trying
and
to
a half.
think for airborne. Is it about? It's about a mile.
About a mile.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
about a mile. But he just takes off. And like he's in duties. No, he was in PTs. The other two were in duties, so he didn't have a tan hat on. The other two did. But yeah, he just takes off.
Did you load your bags into the
Nope.
into the van? Okay, so you had your 2 bags.
So you got your 2 bags, and you're just like here, and you're just waddling, and just running as quick as you can. And they knew like people were gonna fall out, and there was just like a string of us all just like running. And so from then on, it was just like, okay, game on. Like the 2 bags, I don't know what they were probably weighing probably like 35, 45
At least.
each. You know,
I had most of my RASP packing this before I went, so I had like a dead hooker bag. I already had extra baggage.
So your bag is not something that it's just like easy, and it's not like a pillow in it and whatnot like that.
Yeah, no, it's like all of your issued gear, all your extra boots, your cold winter boots, your freaking ASU uniform.
Yeah, so it's like all your basic stuff is in there, and like they just took off, and I was like, okay. Like, and that was like kind of the big one, because it's like basic. You load up on the bus and you show up in the bus, and it's like, get off my bus, and it's like, oh, the shark attack, and I was like, that really wasn't crazy, and I was like, okay, cool, some theatrics. Airborne, they really didn't do anything, but then RASP, this was like, okay, like let's go, and then like we get there, and it was hurry up and wait.
Yep.
We sat there for I think it was 2 weeks, and then they came out and they were just like, okay, the next class that will class up will be off this PT test. And so sitting before that, the 2 weeks, just sitting on the rocks. Mm-hmm. So it's like all we're doing is reading the blue book, or like waiting to get fucked up. So where they have the scroll, I can't remember, it was like the 2nd or 3rd day, one of the actual cadres came out and walked under the scroll, yelled for somebody, and then walked back through the scroll, just baiting somebody to walk through the scroll. And then freaking he did, and he made him sit and do push-ups under the scroll, and made all of us bear crawl around the place. And so just like fucked up games like that started. So
they didn't have the scroll when I was in pre-RASP.
yeah.
That was added, I think, later. Like they've done a lot of updates to that compound.
Yeah, if you didn't have a scroll, you weren't supposed to walk underneath it.
Yep, that makes sense. It's like the
So-
fucking graduation shit where it's like,
Yeah.
oh, don't step on the crest of the school, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
See, I hear stories like that, and I hear my buddies that are RASP cadre, and it's like, man, I kind of wish that I'd gotten to do that
Oh, yeah.
job. I think I would have liked it.
They pay
Going
you
back
more.
a little bit, just real quick, did anyone fall out and quit on that fucking initial run,
The first run,
like from airborne?
no, I don't think anybody fell out solely because once they got there, as those 3 cadre got there, they gave everybody an option. Like, you can voluntarily withdraw right now, or it's time to
No
go.
one did.
Well, I think like 3 or 4 people right there were just like, I'm done.
Yeah,
I'll take airborne.
that's so dumb. That's literally so dumb.
But I mean, I guess it had been happening consistently because they ended
That
up
always
changing
happens.
it.
Yeah, that always happens where they'll get their airborne because there maybe wasn't an airborne slot,
Yep.
and then they get their option for it, and they're like, oh, I'll just quit after airborne.
Yep.
I'll get my fucking wings, and I'll go to a fucking line unit. I still call the 82nd like the 173rd line units because it's like, oh, well, it's still the line in my eyes.
Yep.
Damn, so they got loaded up into the van, got taken right to freaking
Yep.
worldwide. Nerds.
Just transferred out, and I was like, all right.
There you go. All right.
Yeah.
Cool. How many people from your basic company made it or were with you going into RASP?
That's a good question. I know there was about 7 of them that were my boys that we were right there. Fun fact, crazy fact, 275 Mahadavan, the 275 serial killer, not serial killer, but killer.
See the guy that was on the bridge?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways,
He was in your
he
class?
was in my class.
Oh shit.
So that was an interesting, because now hindsight, looking back at some of the red flags or telltale signs, like I
probably
was
saw
like, aha, oh, I was like, sweet, I just had somebody waiting to kill people. Like,
I mean, they want that, but it's like not supposed to be against
Americans.
civilians, Americans. We want you to be able to kill, but not not Americans.
yeah. So But I mean, based
That's
off
crazy.
of what went on in that situation, like they're going back through like places that he's lived before because like such anger was taken out. So
Damn.
yeah, it was interesting.
Huh.
So interesting class, but yeah, I had 7 of us that I was like pretty close with.
Okay.
It was the boys,
Yeah.
and at the end of RASP, we all kind of split, and I went to. There was 2 of us that came to 175, and the rest everyone went to. One went to 375, the rest went to 275.
Hell yeah.
So
So you classed up. You fucking, as you said before, you've always maxed PT tests. So you maxed the RAS PT test,
yep,
and you class up.
yeah.
How was the first day? What was that like? Waking up. So you wake up, right? I can't remember. Do you eat breakfast beforehand, or you wake up, you bring all your shit down to the rocks, you form up?
Yeah, you form up, you make sure you're checked in and everything's good to go, and then you go up, you got your locker, you put all your shit.
Oh, they didn't bag dump y'all?
No, they just had us throw our shit in, and they had us do something. I can't remember what they had going on. But we had lockers because I remember coming back and they bag dumped us
Okay.
right there in the barracks.
Oh, hell yeah.
And then, yeah, and it was a hurricane and everything. So like, everything's just thrown everywhere. And then we're told to clean up and get our lockers dress. So, yeah.
Physical reaction. That was my least favorite part of any military school or like experience was the fucking bag dumps.
Yeah.
It's literally the worst because like everything you own is just getting dumped and people are stepping on it. It's getting mixed up with the guys to your right and your left. And it's just like, I don't know, it's just degrading.
It is.
It's really degrading.
Your property is worth nothing
Yeah.
to them in their eyes.
Yeah, it's just all your shit's everywhere. And then you're like, all right, cool, you have 5 minutes to pack it up. And you're just like,
Don't miss anything on the list.
fuck. Yeah, don't lose anything off your list because we're going to be checking you again.
Yep.
And you're just like, shit.
And that's the thing that's wild is like they will check things off, and it will be like the littlest thing. I remember
Where's your mouth guard? Where's your freaking green leather work gloves?
and it will be to a T. Nope, that's not what you were issued.
Yep.
Yeah, I had in Ranger school. They got to the point that they were checking boot sizes.
Oh my god.
And if your boot size wasn't within 2 of each other, like your winter boot and your summer boot,
Oh my god.
then you could get dropped or you get a minor on it.
Ooh, that's
So-
brutal.
Yeah, like they played some games.
Damn.
So
So day 1, get your locker, play with the worms.
play with the freaking logs.
The logs?
Yeah,
The worms.
The worms.
Yeah.
Yeah, the worms. My bad. Freaking sandbag that's probably, I don't know, 8 to 10 feet long.
Yeah.
And then it's broken up into different sections so it zips open. And then inside are different sandbags. Each one of them ranging probably from 10 to, I don't know, 20, 35 pounds. But then they zip it up. And so now where elevation will change, different on like height of person, like everybody has weight. And
Everybody,
so,
yeah, that's the improvement. That's why they made those.
Yeah.
I'd be 100% willing to bet that Rogue got the idea from
I
the
think
military.
They were Rogue.
Well, yeah, no, I know they're Rogue because I've
bags.
seen. I mean,
I'm
everyone's
sure the
seen
military
videos of
went
them.
to him and said,
That's what
"Hey,
I'm-
build
either,
us this."
Yeah, they went to him, or Rogue was smart. And they're like, "Hey, we
We
see
need
all
this
these guys
torture device."
carrying these logs, but all the short guys get it off easy.
Yep.
How do we make sure the short guys get fucked too?"
Yep.
That's fucking genius because those things are literally just special purpose built for fucking selection programs.
Oh,
I don't see
100%.
them used anywhere else. I see like the sandbags and like the, like the big ones, like
Yep.
the single ones that a single person can carry. But like you don't ever see the worms outside of RASP. I've only ever seen them in RASP.
Yeah, they're brutal. Day 1 that we brought them out, we had a kid, so we were going from shoulder to shoulder, above the head, all that stuff. Everybody squat, come up, set it on the ground, all that fun stuff. There was once that the kid, we brought it up, I think we went above our heads and we came down, and a kid set it on his head, pretty much knocked himself out, and came to laying on the ground at parade rest, talking to one of the RIs, and everybody's kind of like chuckling because what's that?
Parade rest
Yeah.
on the ground.
On the ground, and we're just like, come on, man. Yeah, but he was the first one that dropped. So after that,
Was it a med drop because of that, or
yeah, I think he did med drop if I remember correctly.
damn,
Just,
watch
yeah.
out? The worms are gonna get you. Fucking Shai Halud in the freaking
I want to say
the rocks.
every different like step that I went through, somebody was a med drop. 30th AG, some dude. So military bunk beds are like this, and they usually have springs that are holding on the mattress, right? Or to the frame that's holding on. This dude, poor fella, decided this morning that he was going to jump off and slide off the side, hooks his sack on one of the springs, and is hanging from the sacks and split. So, med drop there, airborne.
Like kicked out of the army or just like...
I think he med dropped it totally out of the army.
Oh my God, dude.
Gonzo. So, that's in...
I have a new fear now.
Or base, yeah, I had never thought of that. Like, dude. I even thought just like pinching, like catching the sack, but he had like the hook. I don't know if somebody, instead of putting the hooks this way,
might have put it on that way, yeah.
And when he slid off.
Oh my God.
That was not cool.
Oh my God.
Airborne, a lady had done everything correct, but she was over top somebody, so she came down on top of their chute. She had crawled to the side and jumped off and did it all right. Mm-hmm. But when she jumped, she was probably 75 feet from the ground.
Oh,
and so she jumped, popped her reserve, did everything right. Yep, back. Gonzo.
Oh my God.
So, on the drop zone, when parents are there to watch. And
it was on the graduation.
Yeah.
Dude, that's literally the fucking worst.
So, my whole family's there, or my mom and dad and Kayla's there. Yeah. So
they're like, oh shit, someone just died.
Yeah.
So her chute was like completely deflated, or was it like at least a little? Did it catch a little bit?
it had gone down because she had rode him in for so long. She was like dead center of the chute, so she was trying to crawl off, and I've never been in that situation.
No,
I can't remember.
I mean, they always tell you if you land on top of someone's chute, you know,
crawl off,
crawl or roll off. Yeah, watch out for the corner vent.
So she did it right from everything that they said.
Yeah, but it was just
and then
that's scary.
Just too low.
Too low. It takes what? 300 feet at least?
Yeah, I think 250.
250.
From what if I remember right.
Bro, that's like...
So,
I remember hearing about a dude that... It was like in the RAS Jump. Because they don't jump in RASP anymore. They used to... You go to airborne, and then you do a jump in RASP. It was like week 3. It'd be like the fucking Mogadishu mile equivalent, I think. And you jump in, then you do a fucking crazy litter run. It was like at the end of the RFR little instructional period. And you do that, you fucking, get your dick smoked. But there was a dude in RASP and like a couple classes before me that had jumped and fucking caught his arm in a static line and it fucking ripped his bicep off entirely. And he was fucking med boarded, obviously, out of the army. I don't know. I mean, he might not have been. He might have stuck around. Yeah. I think, I want to say they're like, yeah, he's like recovering, like he's going to come back.
That'd be wild.
I was like, dude, fuck that, dude. Static line jumps are fucking scary. Yeah. Oh, spooky. Anyways. Med drop, sandbag, fucking bonk. Do they still do the Doughboy run? That's like day 2.
Yeah, what?
The Doughboy Stadium run?
No, we didn't do a Doughboy run.
Oh. So they used to fucking, I think it was like day 2. It's like the first like real PT morning. Because the first morning it's like, you don't do morning PT, but you get PT'd obviously through the whole day. Yeah. But the next morning, it used to be, I don't know, they might have brought it back, but you form up and you do a fucking death run to Doughboy Stadium. I don't know if you know where that is on Benning, but it's like a fucking 3 or 4 mile run, and they're hauling ass. And
then maybe they just maybe not have.
They might not have done it for your class, but you do that. I remember that was like the big thing everyone was worried about. I'm like, y'all are worried about that. Like, I'm worried about Coal Range the fucking week after. Like, I don't give a fuck. So we did the Dover run, and then you just do stadiums and fucking like a big PT circuit, and then you run back to the fucking compound after. It was horrible. It was like a fucking 8 mile cumulative, I want to say. We might have gotten on buses. I think they were running, and then you get bused because they had to meet the time hack for breakfast. Yeah. But everyone was so worried about the Dover run. They're like, that's where everyone quits. I'm like, yeah, it's a run. Like we've all been running. Like we've been training for runs. Like whatever. Yeah. So okay, make it through. And Coal Range was still week 2 for you guys at that point. What was memorable about Coal Range?
Coal Range. I hated rucking. So rucking.
Yeah, you're short.
Yeah. So I had freaking my legs. I felt like had to go a million miles an hour, and so for my rucking technique was always to find different gaps. So it was the
light pole strategy.
Yeah. So that was probably in Savannah. That's what it was. All right. I'll take 2 or 3 light poles of a walk, 2 or 3 of a run, 2 or 3 of a walk, 2 or 3 of a run, and that seemed to be the best for me. I don't know if I just have like like sissy feet. Like my feet get beat up so bad. I got to the point where I would duct tape the back of my heels because that's the only way that I wouldn't get like my moleskin didn't work. Blisters were so bad. So I'd always have to like duct tape them the morning of a ruck because it's like I knew that they'd just be destroyed. So
something with your boots then.
Yeah.
Did you ever figure that out?
Nope. Duct tape was my solution. So
hey, duct tape fixes everything.
yeah.
100-mile-an-hour tape.
Yeah, I had tried like double socks and then like no socks. I had tried tightening my boots, loosening my boots. I tried new boots. I tried like I just
insoles, all that. Yeah.
I just got soft feet. Just pussy feet.
My strategy was initially in basic. I tried it, and then I just went to just using Fox Rivers, which I don't really like those socks, but they were the best that I had. I didn't know about Darn Toughs at the time.
Yeah.
But I used to do the old dress sock inside the fucking regular issue sock. For issue socks, it works great. Yeah. And issue socks, people fucking sleep on those. They're good for like 2 wears because they're really cushiony. They're fucking great for like 2 wears, but after that they get crunchy and fucking thin, destroyed. But like a fresh pair of issue green socks, honestly, are fucking awesome. I love them. They felt great. Cool. So RASP, Colrange.
Well,
crushed land nav.
Land nav wasn't really a problem. I had like growing up, like camping and all that stuff. It was pretty easy. But then I don't know. It just clicked. It was just super easy. Once we went out and actually like we had some like good instructors that just I don't know what they taught, how they taught it. It clicked, and so it was super easy. But then I guess probably everybody just looks for the dragon. Like that's probably the easiest thing is there's always going to be somebody that's flashing a red lens.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
smacking the pole with the rubber duck.
Yeah, you get close enough, and I mean, I'd say most of my points I was probably within like 20 feet of.
Yeah.
And so it's always like there's somebody, or I just like do a little dance before they leave. Like you just do so many just random little shits, and it's like. Everybody knows, well, for the most part, everybody's trying to help each other. Unless you got some dickhead people, but my groups were always, like, pretty good. And so, like, we were trying to help each other. I think my biggest memory was just hit the wood line. Like, we had to bear crawl, we had to low crawl. I remember one time I bear crawled through just a red ant pile. And, like, my hand just hurt for the rest of the day. Like, I don't know how many times I got bit. I didn't think I got bit that many, but it was enough that I stood up and got yelled at for. And I remember I was just depleted, just frustrated.
Sorry, there's fucking red ants here, bro.
You know, it's just like, I'm sorry, I'm fucking bear crawling to fucking do something that's wasting our time to learn about nothing to freaking. I was just pissed at everything. Like, freaking, you could have. I was just pissed at everything. But then it's like cherry on top. So
red ants.
Yeah. So I think Colrange, like, I didn't mind any of the, like, testing yourself or putting yourself to the extreme to figure out, like, if you're the right candidate or if you're the right person. Like, I enjoyed that. Like, my family was very competitive growing up. So it was fun for me. It was all a game for me. Sometimes it sucked, like waking up and having like a sheet of ice on top of your baby.
Yeah, because you're a winter class,
so, yeah, not fun.
I always remember that. That was lovely.
Yeah, I think the most memorable day is the final day of Colrange. I expected some bullshit.
No, it's always chill.
But I was bracing.
They're like, all right, cool, get online. We're gonna pick up trash, and you're like, oh my god.
But it's like it started from the morning. I remember we were out just in the middle of the field because we were doing something, and I remember waking up in my bivvy just like this, and I remember looking down at my watch, and looking and thinking something like 6 o'clock seems way too long to be sleeping in. Like, where's the IDF? Where's this? Where's something going on? But I was like, nobody's doing nothing. There's a sheet on my freaking sheet of ice over this, so I'm nice and warm. I'm in a cocoon. But then I
don't hear anyone else moving.
Yeah, nobody else. There wasn't like a hurry up, let's go. Like there wasn't that commotion of hurry, pack your ruck, let's go.
That's the worst thing to wake up to.
So, but yeah, I just had laid there and I was just like, all right, well, nobody's doing anything, so I'm going back to sleep.
I wasn't awake.
Yeah, so I laid down, and I don't remember if I fell back asleep, but I just remember laying there probably another 30, 40 minutes, and then I can't remember, somebody started calling us in, and it was just the one by one, somebody was like, hey, start packing up your shit, it wasn't like a hurry and pack up your shit, it was, hey, pack up your shit and start coming in.
Yeah.
I was like, this is too chill, like,
after what's
everything,
gonna happen
like,
now?
I want to say the day before, like, it was wild, because, what is his name now? I can't remember his name off the top of my head. Cadre, he came in and he was on top of everybody though. Like the night before, and IDF had everybody standing at attention, had us fucking rucks above our heads, down, set them down, moved the sandbag all night. Like
I love that.
It was brutal. So going into the night, I was just
fucking pit.
yeah, and it was like down into push-up position, don't touch your chest, and he was walking around and freaking making sure. So he didn't make it very fun, and to the final day of getting our berets, like everybody had been shaving their berets, making it all nice and whatnot. Day of, we're getting ready, we're in formation, getting ready to load to go to the graduation and whatnot, and he's walking around. He's like, did you shave this morning? He got pissed. There was one dude that didn't shave, or he didn't think shaved.
Fuck.
He's just like, you think that you fucking can wear my beret? You think that you can wear a beret that my brothers have died for? And like he went off and so
You gotta have a few guys like that though.
Yeah, and he like, so we were ready. Like, yeah, I wasn't ready for that, and I was like, oh shit. Like I had like there'd been some smoking, and he was definitely the worst one. There was a point where, at another point, we were up in the barracks getting ready, and this was again after Corps Range. He had got, I don't know, transferred in. He was just there for a brief minute, but every time it was one-on-one with us and him, the other cadre kind of like would try and baby or offset him. Like it was to the point like we were in the barracks and he was smoking this end of everybody. The cadre would come over here and be like, all right, you guys can take a rest. And he's like, oh, he's coming up. And so it was like the good cop get bad cop, but the good cop was like totally about it. He's like, yeah, go down right now. Like, sorry, somebody like, you guys deserve to get smoked because somebody did a stupid thing, but it was somebody else, so I'm gonna not let him take it out on all of you.
All of you at the same time.
And so I was like, we had some cool cadre. Like I was like, that's within reason. Like our group was fucked up, but not all of us were fucked up.
I bet the other cadre probably didn't like him very much.
No, there's always that one that you're just like, did you really have to do that? Like, that's kind of unnecessary.
Yeah.
We've all been
like maybe week one, like be that guy week one full range, but it's like
we had just come back.
In phase two too, where it's like, okay, we're actually trying to teach you guys something.
Yep.
It's like you only really get fucked up if someone does something stupid.
Yeah.
Like on the weekend, if they fucking got caught drinking, or if you miss a time hack, or just like stupid shit, or you don't finish a task, then you're gonna get fucked up. But it's not like, hey, we're trying to still weed people out.
Yeah,
it's mostly just like, hey, we're gonna do PT every morning. You're going to go to the range, you're going to go do the demo range, and we're going to leave you alone.
I think that particular smoking was because the first sergeant, one of our candidates, ran into the first sergeant, and instead of calling him first sergeant, he called him sergeant. And that cadre happened to be around.
Oh, no.
And so that cadre came following him up,
right,
and
right.
like, okay, you don't know freaking...
Y'all don't want to fucking call people by their rings, okay.
Yeah, so that was a rank one, so...
Yeah, that maybe seems excessive, but
it was a little excessive.
It happens.
But it was like, okay, like we should have the respect for, like, we're in RASP at this point. You should know.
You should know rank.
Yeah. But then at the same time, like the whole class wasn't fucked up. It was that individual. So where the guy was taking care of us, it was like, okay, cool.
So made it through RAS, learned how to fucking shoot real good.
Yeah.
Was that your first time shooting pistols, or have you shot pistols before?
I had shot pistols before.
Okay.
So I had worked actually at like a mechanic shop, and that individual in my life was actually into shooting competitions.
Okay.
And so I actually had bought my first competition pistol off of him. I can't even remember what I bought. I do remember that the rear sight pushed all the way out, and I didn't know what to do. So I ended up selling it back to him because it was like a day or two after.
Yeah.
And I can't remember. I was probably like 17 or 18, and so I remember going to my dad and being like, "Yo, like he sold me this pistol," because long story short, he's a family friend that my dad had actually coached through high school.
Okay.
So there was some tie. So I was like, dude, he sold me this pistol and I don't know what to do. So my dad kind of was like, oh, I'll kind of step in this situation. And so it got rectified. But yeah, so I had shot a little bit of pistol before, but not a lot. Like my dad wasn't a big hunter. I think I got my first 22 when I was 12, I think. And then kind of learned how to shoot from that neighbor family that we'd gone camping with all the time. The Ridings, they were like the second family. Like their dad, he was big into hunting and whatnot, and so he kind of took over on that stuff. So
Gotcha.
But yeah, so went through hunter safety and shot rifles more than any pistols.
Yeah.
But I had been introduced to them before and was intrigued by them for sure.
So made it through RASP, phase 2. You wanted to go to 275.
Yeah.
Because it's close to Utah. Like, same thing with me. I was like, oh, 275, that's like close to Utah. I want to go there.
Yeah, I was half and half. So it was 275 or 175.
Yeah, no one's like, yeah, give me 375.
Nobody wants to be at the flagpole. Nobody
I feel
wants
like even if you put down 375,
yeah.
like they'd probably still give it to you. They'd be like, oh, this psycho wants it.
Yeah,
All right,
this
cool.
wants to be here. Yeah, you're just in like a freaking fishbowl. Like everybody is watching you to be the standard. Not saying that we didn't uphold the standard, but it is.
It's
the
more
letter
so
of the
there,
law.
yeah. Which is why 375 is dubbed Angry Bat, because they're in the worst location.
100%.
They're in the worst location. They're at the flagpole. They have to be around fucking basic training kids and fucking airborne kids and RASP kids all the time and Ranger school.
Messing
it's just
up.
like, fuck, dude, I can't ever get away from TRADOC.
Yep.
So you requested, you put down, what was it? You put down 175 as your first,
Oh
or
no!
275 for your
I put
first
down
pick.
275 because I figured if they're coming around, I thought it was a game.
Yeah.
So I was like, they're gonna come by, they're gonna see this and send me somewhere else.
Yeah,
And so,
that's what happened to me, I think.
Did it?
Because I put 275 as my first,
Yeah.
and then 175 obviously was second, and then obviously 375 last.
Yeah. So I don't know if they just were picking off the list or if the list had already picked, but they had gone to everybody and they were calling out people and they was like, yo, by name, went down the list and asked us, where do you think you're going? And so when they asked me, I was like, 275. Because two of the buddies that were with me, the boys, had already been 275 called before, and they had said 175. So I was like, okay, they're just flip-flopping what you say. So I was like, 275. And it was like, no, you're going to 175. And I was like, dang it.
Dang,
what a shame. Like, beach bat. So I was excited, more so than I was if I was to go to 275, just because I think 275 would have been nice, closer to family. But at the same time, I didn't like the weather aspect of 275.
For sure. So you show up, MRC, you in process. Again, for the people that don't know, you in process at Fort Stewart because that's the fucking main base for Hunter Armory Airfield. All their fucking systems are there. You spend like 2 weeks there, and it's almost comparable to 30th AG. But you have a little bit more freedom, and it's a little bit less smoky and stupid. But you're still like in a limbo state, and you have the added benefit of like, oh shit, I have to fucking show up now. Because in RASP, you're like so focused on finishing RASP that you don't really have much time to think about showing up to battalion. And then it's like, oh, now I'm in limbo for 2 weeks and I just get to think about my fate here when I roll in to my platoon.
Yep, 100%. I think that we kind of got taken a little bit more care of when we were in processing because it was me and Ligon. And Ligon, I want to say Ligon was older than me at the time. I want to say, well, he's older than me, but I want to say he was like 29.
Okay.
So it was like two older gentlemen coming into the class, and so it's like the sergeants that were taking care of us when we got there, it was like, you guys are almost our same age.
Yeah.
And so again, it was
Grown
kind
men
of
with
yeah.
tambours, it's like, all right, I can trust these guys
are
not be
adults.
dumbasses.
Like when we were told to show up for PT, we were there early, and freaking like when we ran, like we were smoking everybody. Like there's like, you guys can relax. Like we're just like, no, we know that where we're going. We know where we've got to get ready for.
We
like,
can't get soft.
I can
MRC.
eat all my food right now, and it will be packed on right now. So I started to try and eat like pretty good. Because I was like, I know going into battalion, like the first couple months potentially can be rough.
Sing, and then you're in MRC singing all the freaking Dogface Soldier songs,
all that
playing
fun bullshit.
the stupid third IDs. Because the majority of people there are going to third IDs, so they're like trying to indoctrinate you into third ID stuff, but they still expect Rangers to fucking You guys are gonna do it while you're here.
Get yelled out for not singing their song.
Bro, I'm not singing your stupid song. Doll-faced soldier,
Yep.
rifle on my shoulder. I don't know why I still remember that.
I don't even remember. All I remember is Dog-Faced Soldier.
So feed me ammunition. Keep me in the
I
third
have
division.
no idea. Me and Ligon both looked at each other and was like, nope.
Why do I remember that song, bro? That's fucked.
You're a
Oh
hua.
my god. Yeah, I am a hua. I cannot beat the hua allegations.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a whole YouTube channel. So hard to beat the hua allegations, you know?
I dig it. I dig
No,
it.
but that song was fucking cancer. Because it is kind of catchy, and they did make us sing it. And I was like, fuck, dude,
Yep.
it's stuck in my fucking head. This fucking bullshit
And I'm
song.
sure if you're, how many people did you come in?
Oh, there was a bunch of RAS
Yeah,
kids with these.
and so you guys probably all made it a joke to somewhat make fun of it. And
I
whatnot.
think it was either that or like they made it because there's so many of us. They were like, all right, make sure the Rangers are singing
Yeah.
the song or some fucking
Yeah.
stupid shit. And
Where you have numbers, they demand something else. Whereas like me and Lincoln, it was like
there's
the
like,
two of
okay,
them.
like
and you're adults.
you guys are adults. You guys aren't trying
Yeah.
to fuck off. Like, all right.
So,
So you show up, 1st Battalion, 2018. No, 27.
no, 2018.
2018.
Yep.
1 Alpha.
Yep.
We were already on deployment because you showed up, what, in fucking April?
Yeah, I think I was able to go back and move the wife, and the first weekend we were there had 4th of July.
Okay.
So
So, yeah, we were all in Syria or Iraq at the time. I think 2 Alpha was in, they were in Iraq, we were in Syria. 1 Alpha was the rear D platoon for that one.
yeah.
So how was that when you first met your platoon?
When Ligon and I got there, I can't remember what we got there and they were doing. It was some kind of training, so we got blessed most definitely because nobody was there. I remember Preciado being there, and he fucked us up, but didn't fuck us up. Like he was kind of pissed that he was there, but he wasn't going to take it out on us.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of the chase the chem light and then come back, but it was like he had done some of the in-processing. So we had the freaking turtle shell bag with all of our shit and all that stuff in there. But yeah, we went into weapons squad. We got all our packets and whatnot.
Okay, so you were weapons squad initially.
Well, yeah, I was there for probably a week, and then I went to 3rd squad.
Okay.
So that's where I was.
That's
going
like
in.
the next big hurdle because everyone's like, all right, I got to dodge getting the fucking 11 Charlie in processing.
Yeah.
And then, okay, I got to fucking make it through RASP. And then it's like, please don't send me to a fucking weapons squad initially.
And I don't know what I did. I don't know if we had a PT test when we first showed up or something like that, but I was one of the only ones. I can't remember. I think Ligon had to stay in there, but I was like, well, just the two of us, we split. He had to go to, no, I want to say he went to school and then I went to 3rd.
Okay. So he went to school right away.
Yeah.
Oh,
Obviously
shit.
Ligon was gone
You
pretty
got
quick.
probably one of those battalion PT slots or something. Okay.
Yeah, just because I believe he went to school because I took the opportunity to go
Oh,
get
to
my
meet your
wife.
wife. Yeah,
And so they just
okay.
thought it was fair because it was like, sweet, we're on rear D, we're not doing much. There's a slot open, you want to go? And at the time
Nice.
it was like, sweet.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure Ligon took that if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember that well because I was focused on family, moving
Yeah.
shit and all this fun stuff. I was new private, getting somewhat smoked but not smoked. Yeah, it was a whirlwind.
Yeah.
Moving family, like finally getting out of training and being where I was gonna be, getting settled with the wife and all that. So
Hell yeah.
yeah, it was a hurricane. It was freaking drinking out of fire hose, and then you're showing up to.
And then there was
freaking
actual
battalion.
hurricanes that year too, if I
Yeah.
remember.
Freaking getting kicked out of your house, told to go on a hurricane.
You have to
and
go
all
on,
that
you have to
stuff.
leave your house and you have to go stay in a hotel somewhere.
Yeah.
Cool. So you were just showing me videos, which can I put those in? I don't know. if
Yeah,
That's something.
you'd
I'll
have to
splice
check
them.
with those
I mean,
faces and whatnot.
I'm just gonna do the helicopter ones.
Yes, I'm fine with that. I mean, they've already used them.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, wow. Okay, so he's got behind. So 1 Alpha filmed one of the coolest Army commercials in the recent years.
Yeah.
It's the classic Ranger. Fucking, it's the fast rope into the city, and the dudes are fucking shooting their shit at random crazy angles. I'll fucking splice that in here real quick, and then I'm gonna splice. He's got some behind the scenes footage because he was out filming that with 1 Alpha, which that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Basically being a
Those were
movie
the
star.
privates on the
Well,
ground.
you weren't in
I was
any
one
of
of
the videos, but
I
you
was
were
one of
helping
the
run.
cast members.
You were the cat. You were a freaking
Not even cast members, just a freaking
extra hand.
extra hand members. So I didn't mind it though, because I feel like going through there was probably a blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
It was an opportunity that they couldn't really fuck me up in front of normal civilians, like casting people, because it wasn't just like a Joe Schmo. It was Peterburg, I believe, that was putting on.
Peterburg, and then there's, I know Jericho Denman.
Yeah, so there were some big names that were there. But we definitely did Ranger shit. Like we had a speaker out there, and we're freaking blasting some Attila and all that stuff, fun shit. And Peterburg comes up and he's like, "Yeah, you guys are all criminals and whatnot." And stuff like we definitely like held the standard that we were there to fuck shit up. Some casting members had some of the comms that some of the leaders had and comms and whatnot, and some interesting things were said and mentioned, and so they were just like, "Holy shit, these are our freaking war fighters." But it was awesome. I definitely took the opportunity to get ahead, for lack of better terms. So anything that was asked of me, like I did my very best. I would think through and try and make sure it's like if I was in their situation asking a private to set this up, what would I expect?
Right.
Or I would ask questions like that, and come to find out like my team leaders didn't really like particularly enjoy me having like
I'm asking
defining questions. You know.
I mean, I think that most team leaders kind of want you to figure it out on your own.
Yeah, sink or swim.
Yeah.
And I can see where they get that, because like most of the people are coming in that are like usually 25 and below.
Yeah.
And so it's like they're kind of coming in looking for a leader to tell them what's up. Where it's like I came in and it was like, okay, that's what you want done. Well, do you want it like this, that, or the other? And it's like, oh, I didn't even think of those options. And so it's like having life experience kind of came into it. It's like my team leaders, I can't remember, I want to say it was like 25, 20, 24, and 25.
Yeah, so they're younger than you.
So they're a little bit younger than me. Solid dudes from everything that I remember, but I guess one didn't particularly like me asking clarifying questions. So. But it was, I enjoyed it.
So do that. You go to Ranger School about a year after you show up.
Yep.
You went straight through, you motherfucker. Fake tab over here. Yeah. Recycle once.
I went through the winter, so I don't know if that's fake or not.
You want winter? Yeah, winter. Okay, we'll let winter slide.
Winter's a little bit bitter.
You go through the summer, you have to recycle. We'll say
winter, you just go straight through. So.
Yeah, winter, you don't want to be spending more time than you need to there. Get caught on the tail end of BRC, or the beginning of BRC.
Yeah.
You had no problems in Ranger School?
Not
Assault
really.
Squad?
Yeah, I just had.
You were BCO, I think.
Yeah. Like so.
Not that it really matters, because the good company swaps every fucking class. So.
But it was ironic because I kind of went into it again, kind of game planning everything, and as I went, I actually got assigned a attack company, and so I was standing there with my bags, and I'm kind of like looking at the guys next to me left and right, and I'm like. Go to war with who's next to you left and right, and I'm kind of looking around and I'm like that dude's not going to be able to carry me. Like, I'm not a big dude, but that dude's smaller than me. I was like, no, that dude's even smaller than that dude. So I was waiting for the cadre to turn and do their thing, because they hurry up and wait, and then they kind of just leave you out there to dry. So once they left us out to dry for 2-3 minutes, I just picked up my shit and just moved. They were still organizing everybody, but I picked my shit up and moved. And they noticed, but they were just like, who moved? And I wasn't going to be like,
no, you don't got my fucking name yet, buddy. So, you ain't got fucking names on a list yet, so get fucked.
So at the very end of it, I went through BCO and went straight through, which was awesome. Mm-hmm. I had one med visit that I stayed for 2 days, and then after that I was good. That was in Florida, so... Kind of sucked, but at the same time, it was pretty beneficial. Definitely.
Did you have to go yet, though?
No, I didn't actually.
Oh, dude, I couldn't do the med. I'd be like, nah, dude, I'm fucking fine. I'm sticking it out until I get my shit.
I was nervous but I went in, and while they were taking me in, I made sure I knew what the stipulations were. I think I had 72 hours. After 72 hours, you're meted out. And you're required to, you're required to voluntary withdrawal, but you have
all the way out?
Not withdrawal. You could restart.
Yeah, or full day one.
Yeah, I think it'd be a full day one.
Oh fuck, man.
Because medically, you'd have to go get fixed and then come back because you got to take longer.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I hit 2 days and went back. I had like an abscess.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't know how and don't know what, but being
just
out there
fucking
just
gross,
fucking getting
gross.
deteriorated and your body can't fight shit. So I remember you'll smell cat piss smell just because your body's eating it. I think I remember going in at like 160, I believe, 165 maybe, floating around there, and came back at like 35, 40. So I was like, I wasn't a big dude.
Ranger
but at the
School
same
weight loss
time,
program
it
is
was,
undefeated.
Yeah, like wild. So 62 days and freaking just skinny. And like pictures just show it. It just looked like I was going through wrestling season again.
Yeah, just gaunt. Just fucking see the cheekbone and everything.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Got your tab, fucking graduated all fine.
Yep.
And then back to the line. And then your first deployment was the blowout at the end of 19, beginning of 20.
Yep. Yeah, living in a freaking tent, being
Yeah.
a little bum in some third world country.
Living on the cots with tents that leaked. I'm pretty sure they leaked.
Yeah.
Were they leaky? Yeah.
They're all
They're
leaky.
like, oh, we could put the Rangers in the shittiest conditions. They're
Oh, it
Rangers.
was.
It's like,
100%.
but still, come on.
Yeah, and
I
I ended up just finding a little corner that I tucked into. It leaked a little bit, but because the tent had a hole right there, instead of being in the middle and being in a freaking sauna when everybody's sweating on everybody, freaking I had that like wind blowing through. But
Nice.
every once in a while, if it did rain or if it did get freaking cold, it was
Oh,
wet.
wet.
But I was like, that's all right.
Yeah,
It
it was an interesting trip.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff almost happened, but of
Yeah.
course, in classic ACO and especially 3 Alpha fucking curse,
Hurry
nothing
up and
fucking
wait.
happened. Nothing fucking ever happened to us.
Yep.
It's fucking stupid.
We did have some fun going and hiding in freaking all the freaking barracks, the freaking what a blast, the blast barracks. I
Oh,
can't
the
remember. What are they called over there?
oh my goodness. now you got me.
I have a
fucked
brain
up.
fart.
The IDF bunkers.
Yeah.
The bunkers, yeah. The bunkers. They're not really bunkers, but
But what did they call them? I can't remember the name. But I remember is being
IDF
in
shelters.
those,
I think that's what they're called.
and because you could either be in those bunkers or you could be in designated places in the
structures,
chow
yeah,
hall.
yeah.
The chow hall was one of them, and I remember sitting at one of the tables. I don't know if he's still in or not. One of the team leaders had his kit on. We all had our kit on. No. Yeah, he had his kit on. We didn't have our kit on. We were in the chow hall and we're getting inbound missiles and we're getting told brace for a freaking impact. And then it's like, okay, well, we might be freaking taking off and going over and doing some stuff right now too. So once we have impact, we're going to be up and running and getting our kits and freaking all that shit.
Yeah.
So right after impact, we got up and freaking moved and got kits on and started getting ready to go and stuff. So yeah, there was some interesting stuff going on.
It was a wild trip.
But it was a bunch of hurry up and wait.
And then, yeah, it was like the first week and a half was like crazy. And then it was like, oh, okay, we're maybe going to go do this other mission.
Yep.
But it's not probably going to happen. And they're like, all right, cool. We got to get you guys back for platoon live fire.
Yeah. And then it kind of fizzled out.
Shit. So we get back fucking end of February. I was in a different location than him. We were over in, you were at Bayap, we were at Al Assad. And we fucking come back and they're like, we were literally doing once we knew we were going home, we're like, all right, let's start doing platoon live fire rehearsals. We were out there doing it like every fucking morning. Like we do work on some part of the fucking thing.
Yeah.
I was a gun team leader, so we were doing like fucking, support fire shit, like fucking gun drills. And we did a bunch of walkthroughs. We did like full fucking we did FMPs, like just regular Ranger shit. Like that's what happens on deployments. They're like, oh, nothing's going on.
We're gonna
We
train.
can't just go to the range. Oh, let's go fucking train. Oh, let's go fast rope a bunch of times. Let's all fucking fast rope like 10 times today.
Sounds about right.
We got to do it on all the airframes. So 60s, little birds, fucking
Every situation possible.
47s. They're just like, fuck me, dude. ACO's old saying, because like right before I showed up, it used to be like they would fucking fast rope like a motherfucker. And the old hashtag, or the old, not hashtag, the old tagline was like, oh, you want some fries with that? ACO, you want some fries with that? Which is the acronym for fast rope infiltration, exfiltration system, I think is the full acronym, because you motherfuckers always bitch at me for using acronyms. Yeah, fucking Google, motherfucker. Anyways, so we get back and then platoon live fire, whatever, and then we get Team BAF. But it was COVID, so it was bullshit Team BAF. And fucking 1 and 2 Alpha, they get to be the strike force, and they're like, oh, we need a bunch of fucking top secret clearance fucking guys for the jock, and me and my fucking roommate and some of our other buddies from 3 Alpha, we all get pulled to do jock duty because we had top secrets. And that's where the fucking story of the angry ruck came from, because our CO, loved the dude, he's a great guy. Like, he was probably my favorite out of all the COs we've had. But we were like, during the quarantine, he was like talking to me. He's like, yeah, dude, we'll get you out on target already. Don't worry about it. Like, we'll get you out. And I was like, I've been getting told that my whole fucking career. Shut the fuck up. And I got so mad. I was half a handle of Admiral Nelson rum in on that night. And I was like, I'm going to go get my ruck on and I'm going to walk till morning. Yeah. And I fucking ruck up. I grab a fucking Mark 48 and I start doing laps. Anyways, that's a story I've told before. But so we go over. You're the primary strike force. I'm in the jock fucking on the computers for fucking 12 hours a day. Just fucking picking up food from mid-rats because no one could leave. Or all the chow hall closed, the one that was right by Camp Alpha closed. So I was picking up food and fucking setting out and getting bagels because the Sergeant Major wanted bagels all the time. I mean, it was good to keep him happy. I was like, all right, cool. My fucking chow hall hookup would get me the bagels and Sergeant Major will be happy. It was like, all right, cool. It was fucking stupid. Anyways, that's when we burned the range down too. Yep. Shooting with the SBS guys. There was one morning, like, we finished our shift and my buddy, who was like an intel guy, a ranger intel guy that I became friends with on this trip, he would schedule range days in the morning, like after we got off before it got too hot. And he had SBS, Special Boat Service Brit friends in one of their shops, one of the Five Eyes shops, and we went out with them shooting, and somehow we lit the range on fire. We were shooting approved ammo and just started catching on fire, and all the fire extinguishers were broken, and we burned down the entire half of like the little 25, I think it was a 50 meter range, 50 meter range on Camp Alpha in Bath. We fucking burned that shit down, and we thought we were gonna get in trouble. They're like, oh no, don't worry about it. Like, we're gonna fucking be packing up soon anyways. So, yeah. You guys didn't really do anything from what I remember.
We did a lot of training.
Yep. Oh, crazy. Fucking wild.
A lot of training. That was one that we.
Well, you guys did go and pick up that fucking journalist that was being a dumbass.
Yeah, I wasn't on that one.
Yeah, so there was a female journalist, who was wandering into Taliban territory to go fucking interview the Taliban or some stupid shit. Yeah. And the ANA fucking balled their ass up because they're like, no, you're a fucking dumbass. We're not letting you go into Taliban territory. Yep. And they had to go and fucking pick her up. It was like, oh, it's a hostage rescue. I'm like, it's not a fucking, it's not a hostage rescue. You're fucking, it's literally just a fucking, we're picking you up. It's Uber. Fucking Uber delivery.
Glorified Uber.
But they had a whole fucking platoon of dudes to go, and they all had to quarantine after because, like, we don't know if they got exposed to COVID.
COVID was the biggest joke.
It was the joke. Everyone was more worried about COVID than anything else.
It made everything gay.
Yeah.
Like, if the Army was gay before, COVID made
it super gay.
Double fisting gay.
I remember they tried to make us wear masks in the job.
Bro.
I did not wear my mask. Like, I would walk in there and I'd walk right past the BC's desk and he'd be wearing his mask, fucking old fucking Colonel Brawley. And I'd fucking have mine off and I was just sitting in the very front, so like right in the front of the Cinemassives. And I'd just be sitting there and like, no one's coming up to my desk. Like at all, like ever. Yeah. They would just fucking message me on the little message thing we had, and I just fucking sit there with my mask on. I'm like, I'm not fucking putting this on. Like, we're in here anyways. Like, if we're gonna get it, we're gonna get it. Like, fucking don't worry about it.
Yep.
Anyways, yeah. The most fucking blue ball Team Bath mission.
Yep. Big
ever.
Thanks.
Well, fucking, what was it? Who was in Dwyer? Was it Biko or Seco?
I was there with Biko.
Biko got to go out once. They did one fucking target. I got to watch that one. That was cool. Yeah. The SEALs fucking got to smoke. They got to smoke a guy. They smoked the dude on the outside. I was like, oh, hell yeah, dude. Fucking, woo, kill TV. Hell yeah. I mean, we killed a bunch of motherfuckers with drones at deployment. Yeah. We had a tally going. We had a fucking...
Drones is that's when I actually started doing drones for us. Mm-hmm. So, and that was really cool because most of my training, I kind of got left alone. It was kind of not, kind of so, because at the time I was with... a squad leader that I think really highly of. I think he's an awesome dude. Very training oriented, and I said something and somebody misheard it and turned and said it was something else to a squad leader and squad leader's buddy. And so it came down that I was complaining about his training when it's like, I really enjoyed the training. It was just the consistency of it when we could have been implementing some other stuff. So, but again, I was out of line. And so it's like, I made it right with him after getting freaking ass chewed. You probably know who, like when I'll tell you who it is, you're probably like, oh shit. Like, yeah. But like I got my ass
start
chewed.
with an S?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, he wasn't there.
He wasn't there at that point, yeah. He's the only one I could think of.
I met him for like probably the first month being in there, and I went to shake his hand for the first time.
He's a dick.
And I think, quote unquote, he's like, "You don't know me. Don't fucking shake my hand." Like, that was pretty much what he said, and he said, "Start pushing."
Yeah, that sounds right.
Start pushing, bitch, or something like that.
Yeah, that sounds
something
right.
like that. And then his birthday rolls around, and we get told to.
Oh no, dude, that does not work.
The man pulls out a shank.
Yeah,
and legit is like,
I'll fucking stab you.
Yeah, I will stab you. And it's just like, if I'm gonna go balled up, like someone's
gonna go to the fucking hospital.
And the man's serious about it.
No, I know. Like, well, I heard horror stories from him because he was my team leader when I first showed up. I'm pretty sure we're talking about the same guy.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we are.
His last name is the same name as a UFC fighter right now. Yeah. Anyways, but I heard the horror stories when they were in Korea. Aiko was in Korea.
See, and I had no idea who he was.
Yeah, no, he was my team leader. And I heard horror stories from my boys, from my privates in my squad. And they're like, yeah, we tried to ball him up in Korea when we were there. And he legit started like beating people with a chair.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Psycho. He's a great dude. Like I ran into him a few times, like on the outside, like walking around. Like I was walking with my girlfriend's neighborhood at the time, and he was like walking with his girlfriend and their dog, and I was walking with my girlfriend. I was like, "Hey, what's up, man?"
Totally different person.
Totally different person when he's not in uniform.
When we go to work, cool.
Yeah, no, definitely bipolar. Yeah. Anyways,
super smart though.
Super
fucking
smart. Great ranger. No, fucking phenomenal ranger. Which that's how it'd be.
100%.
Anyways, so we fucking get back from 2020, and then at this point, I was like, well, I guess you went on the 2021 deployment, so we got back, played the COVID bullshit that year. Yeah. That was a fun year, honestly, because we had so much time off.
Yeah, it actually was. Like, it was a really chill year.
Chill year. The summer, I guess we got back in the summer, and then at the end of the summer, and then we did a train up, went to Kentucky, and then we went to Iraq and Syria again, that next 2021. Yep. So you're in Syria, and I'd been to the spot you'd been at before. How was that?
I enjoyed it. We were in support of a unit there, and it was awesome. So I had the opportunity to run the range. Day one, we came in there, and the camp commander, pretty awesome dude, says, "Who's shot at any competitions? Like pistol, rifle, any type of competitions?" And I was like, "Oh, sweet. I've done some. I've been shooting at 17 South, been ripping some of those. Had some of the guys that got me into it and whatnot." And so I was like, "Sweet, let's run something." So he's just like, "Cool, I'll have you run my range." And so I show up afterwards, and I got like a freaking notebook out, and I was like, "All right, what do you want this range to be like?" And he's like, "Bro, it's your world, we're living in it." And so like top tier, I'm just like, "Wait, what?" And so I'm like,
"Cool.
I'm a specialist." I'm like, "Wait, you want me to just decide everything?" And he's like, "Yeah, I want you to decide it." I was just like, "Okay, cool." So it's like seeing that and being at that level and having them be like, "You're man, like you're here, you're in regiment, you're doing this job, like set it up." Yeah. All he did ask was that it was like using actual training stuff. It was like actual applicable skills. So I was like, okay, well, within reason. Yeah. So, but we had fun every freaking weekend we shot, and so I don't think I scored under top 10 out of the group, and we typically have probably like 20 to 30 people. Yeah. So we'd have rangers show up, the element we were supporting, and then their support groups as well. So it was pretty cool.
Good mismatch of mushmash. Jeez, what am I trying to say?
Mismatch of people.
No, it's just a big group of all kinds of people.
Yeah, there was
That's
different.
Always fun.
There was different. Yeah,
because we were doing the same shit when we were in Iraq. Like we had Green Berets that were on the camp, like not living on our specific camp, and then we had the unit guys, and then their support guys, and then we had just random agency, 3-letter agency type people that would they're like, "Hey, we're doing a match, Saturday, fucking 10 o'clock, We had, we had Five Eye fucking Canada,
Yeah. When
Brits,
people would
Aussies.
fly in, if it was on the day of competition, to be like, "Sweet, you want to run the competition?"
Grab your shit, come down to the range, yeah.
Because in that area you can land, and then going around
right
to the
there,
range,
right
you
to the
can
range,
see it right underneath, and so it's like they get off their.
Well, it's an
like,
alternate HLZ too, which is a funny thing. So but
they're like, "What's going on down there?" And it's like, "Go join them."
Go.
So we'd have the list and freaking jump on the list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get on the leaderboard.
It was sweet.
Come visit freaking.
I actually beat everybody once, so I felt pretty good about that.
Yeah, dude, freaking, it always feels good to outshoot those guys. You're like,
especially those guys. I'm just like, all right,
big dick.
Not trying to be, but hell yeah.
I feel good about myself, and then you shoot the next week, and you're like,
yeah, then it's like back in
fucking got me again.
7.
Fucking got me again.
Shit.
The only time that I beat them was on a shoot course of fire that I designed. I was like,
I designed all mine, so
yeah, then you had the advantage. It's like, all right, fucking.
Shit.
Freaking no, that was a good trip for us, a good trip for you guys. It was just one alpha there, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Was 2 alpha Rudy on that one? Or were they
I know
they had a special mission, I think, in Iraq.
Yeah.
Because they were initially going to go, and then 3 alpha fucking scooped that shit.
Because I think we actually had to send some of our guys because
they were like some fucking weird spot.
Yeah,
we took some of your guys. We took one.
Okay.
I think just one.
Yeah.
And then, there was some other site. I think it was in Iraq.
Yeah.
There was.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. I don't even know what that mission set was, but anyways. So we get back from 21. We both kind of make the decision. I mean, we weren't really friends at this point, but we both were getting out at the same time. I was like, I was at the crossroads of, right, do I stick in? Do I do the long walk? Or do I get out? Was that kind of something that was going through your head where you're like, do I want to stick around? Do I want to go do something else at another unit? Do I want to try and go to a specialty platoon? Like, what was your kind of
So mine had
logic?
been bouncing around probably from the deployment before. So at that point, me and the wife had like kind of sat down and talked. We had 2 kids, and we were kind of trying to decide what we wanted to do. After working with the unit guys, I was just like, shit, that would be sick.
Yeah.
But when it came down to it, I believe I was going to go either SNOT, RISTA, or get out. Like, those are kind of my decisions. And if I was going to go SNOT, then it would be SNOT, then long walk. Or RISTA, then long walk. Just because I was getting into the drone and getting into some of that. So I believe that I could have had a pretty good shot taking one of those routes and then coming into the unit. Just because adding a specialty would have been beneficial. Like, just one other thing on the resume to bring. Not that that's what's make or break, but
it helps.
Yeah. So, and I wanted to stay in. I really did, but I believe at that point I was kind of at a deciding point in my life where it was like I can either commit to being a family person, like family man, or I could commit to being this warfighter. And it's like the ways that I wanted to go in regiment and staying there. It was kind of like okay, let's commit more. You're going to a specialty platoon, you're learning like a new skill set to go somewhere further, or it's like, hey, let's stop kicking indoors and let's go home. Let's be at home. So that's what we decided to do. We wanted to move back to Utah. We had both of our family here in Utah, and so like that's where we felt best.
Yep.
So
cool. One thing I forgot to ask the first run through this was when you were deployed. How did you manage family life? Because that's another thing I get is like, okay, how do you? And I guess we can expand this to cover training. As well. Like when we're going out on an off-post training exercise, or during MLAT and you're going to work at freaking 1 and then coming back at 4 a.m. Like, how did you work that? I guess we can talk training and we could talk deployments.
I was kind of blessed. We Regiment has a really good community within itself, but some of the guys that came in right after us, our families just clicked. Like, there's a family that moved in. They're out now, the Staines, we just clicked. Bailey was like a second mom to our kids growing up. And so when I would go to training, Stain would be at training because he was in 1 Alpha as well. And so like me and him were gone, so his wife was alone and she could just go over and hang out like all the time. They were just at our house. So I was kind of blessed that way. FaceTime was like our biggest communication.
Okay.
Like we'd call on FaceTime when I had kids. FaceTime was like the biggest thing. I mean, the whole time while Kay and I was dating and through basic airborne and RASP, like it was still FaceTime when we had the opportunity to have our phones. I'm sure it was the same with you with girlfriend or family.
Yeah.
But yeah, FaceTime was probably the biggest thing. And so like my daughter, still to this day, like FaceTime's a big communication because it's like we moved back to Utah and then my family moved to South Carolina. So to keep up with family out there is just FaceTime. So she's knowing FaceTime and she's 4 and she can run a tablet probably as well as I can. So, but yeah, that was the biggest thing. Deployments again, super blessed with the group of people that we lived around and with. My neighbors at the time, whenever I would go on deployment, I couldn't really tell them I was on deployment, but I had talked with the man before, and it's like, hey, if I'm going to play video games with people, I'm probably not going to be around for a couple months. And so it was like,
damn, that's a lot of video games we play.
It was kind of like a, hey, I'm not supposed to tell people, so this is me telling you without telling you. And like Kale would be the same thing for like the blowout. And it was like, hey, I'm gonna stay late, play Wii with the guys. It was like, okay, the guys don't play Wii for one. So it was just one of those things. It was just like one of those
Code
phrases.
words,
It's like, all right, this isn't Brock. This isn't something. Like, we didn't even own a Wii. Like so. But like the community we had right there in our neighborhood, our neighbors were awesome. Pretty much like family, and then extended ranger family as well was just awesome. So it's like I deployed and Stain deployed, so it's like again, wife's
The
just
FRGs are on it.
Yeah.
Like they're gonna coordinate. The FRG knows the freaking training schedule before we even fucking got it, like half the time.
Yeah, I think I knew half the stuff before we got pushed out stuff because like my wife had like told me like, oh hey, they're gonna ask you about this, this, and this today. I would like 4 of them, and I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? And I show up to work and be like, hey, FRG's putting this out. Who needs some of these? I was like, I guess I need 4. Like, yeah, I got 4 for you right here. And I was like, the hell
What is going on?
So, but yeah, the community that the Ranger Regiment has is awesome. And that was one thing that I did consider going up into like the unit because some of those guys I had talked to a little bit more about some of the stuff there, and from what I understand, like it's even better there. So yeah, I guess we just made this decision where based off of me wanting to all the way be out.
Yeah.
So just because I wanted to be able to commit fully to a family instead of having almost like split personality.
Right. Yeah.
With lack of better terms, like that's what it was. It's like I need to be fully dedicated to this cause to come home and to be the best that I could be, but at the same time I want to be the best over here.
Yeah.
It's like, for me, maybe it's possible, but for me at the time it wasn't.
Yeah.
So.
Gotcha. So, got out. We both got out around February of 22, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. February 22.
March. So.
Yeah, you moved pretty much home right away.
Yep.
Yeah, I stuck around Savannah for a little bit and then moved back that November. And kind of reconnected, I guess, in February. I was like, oh shit, yeah, Brock lives out here.
Yeah. I think I saw a post on your Instagram or something like that of like a snowfall or something. I can't remember when it was.
Yeah, it was something, I'm sure.
It was something. I was like,
oh,
are you
shit.
in Utah? And it was like, oh shit. And then we've come to find out we're like 7 minutes away.
Well, yeah, freaking. Yeah, because I hadn't moved into this place yet, but I was living with my parents down in American Fork.
Shit. Okay.
But you were out in Eagle Mountain area?
Mountain,
yeah. And we like hit the range one day, and then freaking and then recently we just started doing some security gigs together, and brought you into this the group we're running with now, who also live real close. Like we all live real close together where we're at. And then so. How was the transition, I guess, getting out of the military? Was it hard? What were your struggles?
Yeah, it was hard, I'd say. Probably the biggest transition from any job that I'd say that I've had. Just because...
It's not really a job. It's a fucking lifestyle.
It is. And that's the thing that led a lot of people, like, going into the military and being committed to that lifestyle. Like, I was there. It was either fully commit more so to it or not. And it's like, at that point, like... it was time to leave it. And so I had definitely changed from the person I was going into the military and who I was there. I think a lot of it was just because some of the times it's fight or flight, and in regiment it's fight. Like there's no flight. Like, sorry. Like I don't think any ranger would definitely pick to flight, you know. I think we'd have to have somebody be like, hey, that's probably not the smartest idea, and then it'd be like, okay, true.
Yeah, but it's not flight.
Yeah,
it's
you
a
know?
tactical.
Yeah, it's a tactical maneuver. But yeah, so lost my train of thought. So
Getting out.
yeah, it's probably been the hardest thing so far, just because getting out and leaving somewhere where is designed for you to train and just train. Like,
well, you know what's happening. Like, you have a fucking set schedule. You know,
yeah,
like
everything's
a year ahead.
laid out so that you can be training
Base
to
your life
become
around
better,
it,
and
yeah.
then train to become better, and then train. Like, there's only one thing that you're designed to do, and they make it perfect for you to just be able to do that.
Yep.
Like, here, become this war machine, and it's like, go to a class, come back to the war machine. Go to a class, come back to the war machine. Perfect. Like, it's just perfecting your craft in any way that the military can send you to do.
Yep.
With fucked up games in between.
Yep. With playing Wii with the boys in between.
Yeah. So, and I mean, it's an awesome environment, but at the time I was like, I'm ready to, like, I stepped away and ready to leave. And so leaving that environment was tough. Like, leaving that environment and being like, okay, what do I do? And I have so much freedom to do what I want to do. Mm-hmm. Like, I woke up the next day and it's like, I could legit do anything.
I could get on a flight to somewhere, anywhere in the world. I don't have to ask another grown man for permission.
I don't have to ask anybody to do nothing. I don't have to, like, check it off. Nobody's expecting me to be there and going to check in to be there and this, that, and the other, you know? And so the start, it's like, oh, yes. But then after a bit, it's like, I didn't have
too much
pushing.
freedom.
Yeah, I didn't like pushing. Shit. I didn't have all this stuff, and I hit rock bottom. Like, I'd probably see, like, if I look back and showed you pictures of myself, like, I just looked very, like, skinny, like I wasn't working out. I just didn't do anything like that, and so I was probably like 140 pounds, and but I wasn't doing anything for myself. Like, I was trying to find a job, and the job that I had found was a night shift job. So being a dad, trying to help with kids during the day, and then having a night shift job, like, I was just getting fucked up. Yeah. It was tough. But I knew, like, the one thing coming from Regiment that I think that I always fell back through is, like, I knew that Regiment was harder than anything that I probably go through in the civilian world. And it's like, I knew that I could go and exchange my time for a paycheck. And it's like, at the time, like, getting out, like, that's all I knew that I could do. And it's like, I was the, like, blockhead ranger coming out, and I was just freaking Rambo on a resume, just gunfighter. And it's like, it sucked because I was like, I don't know what I could do with an 11 Bravo resume. Right. And I was like, there's not a lot that I can go out and be like, look, I was an expert infantryman that has freaking my CIB with True Blue, the freaking XYZ, and there's like, cool, dude, you can shoot a gun, you know? So at the time I was like, this is rock bottom. But then just recently I was like, I'm going to commit myself to shooting. Like, I'm good at it. I enjoy it. Like, why not get fully into it? And so I actually found a company that instructs out here that was another ranger, kind of bringing us into nowadays. I don't know if you want
perfect.
to...
No, it's a great segue. Yeah, no, it's perfect.
But yeah, I started shooting with them and felt like some brotherhood there, and it was really cool. The content that they put out was pretty good content, and it felt good because I had something that I was focused on getting better at and, like, improving and whatnot, and it was good until recently, where the value that I brought to the table wasn't really kind of getting looked at, and I was asked if I was wanting to be more committed to that team and that brotherhood. And when I was asking about what that kind of looked like in compensation, I kind of got told that I was just an intern. And so I was like, yeah, I'm not going to go down that street again. Like, I kind of just been rebuilding myself. I had built some confidence, and I was like, this is what I want to do. I had set some goals to build a company, to not only just build a company, but the long-term goal is build a range as well. But seeing the opportunity to work with them, I definitely used it as just that, an opportunity. And I had planned to, like, as me and the wife were going through this experience, like, there was some red flags that had been coming up. And so we had game planned what I was anticipating to do, and I wanted to get some more certifications as a trainer, probably for myself to feel more confident. And then lo and behold, we had this discussion, me and the other boss, and we didn't see eye to eye on the value that I brought, and him wanting me to be more involved wasn't going to be matched with the value that I felt that I had. And so and at the same time, like I had stepped away a little bit and started to do some personal like training sessions on my side just to like test the water, see what I could get away with. And everything that I was doing on the side, people like raved. Like they were like, pretty awesome, pretty good. So the conversation I had with him kind of didn't go align with everything people were saying that had trained with me afterwards. And so I ended up just pulling the plug because I had built myself up to enough self-confidence that at the point I was just like, look, even though another ranger that should be a ranger buddy is telling me that I'm an intern in his company, knowing the skills that I could bring to the table and having all these other people tell me things, like I was just like, nah, that's not happening. So stepping into nowadays, like tonight we're launching the website to Sovereign Tactics, which is the shooting company that we're building and starting. So I'm super pumped about it. I had the first women's class just the other day.
How'd that go?
2 ladies were there.
Awesome.
From the start, one of the ladies, this was her stance and grip, and I was like, sweet. And she showed up with a little LCP, and I was like, awesome. So
gun.
If you don't know what it is, it's about the size of your hand. Can't really grip much on it.
The worst trigger of any gun I've ever shot.
Yeah, definitely great concealed gun to conceal, but not necessarily the best to shoot.
That's about the only place.
Like you can conceal the gun, but when it comes to shooting it, it's very tough.
So painful.
But to like her benefit, like or to mad props to her, the end of the course she was able to, from 5 yards, be able to hit probably like 9 out of 10 shots on a 3-inch circle. So not too bad.
Pretty good with that shit gun.
So yeah, I was impressed. And irons.
And it's not good iron sights either. It's just an all-around trash gun. So, I mean, that speaks to your skill as an instructor too. So, I mean, even with the shitty gun, you're able to get her to fucking a good standard. So, yeah, I mean, I'll talk a little bit about it too, because like I've had the idea too in my fucking notes app for a long time. It's like, oh, it'd be cool to build out a shooting company, or like not necessarily a company per se, but like build out a course to be able to run kind of along danger range or whatever. We're going to be targeting, like, what do you say our targeting demographic is going to be? It's like, dudes that want to learn how to get good at guns, and obviously. And
gun enthusiasts.
And then there's a large section of the market of people, because I think a lot of people are like kind of realizing, maybe I should learn how to shoot a rifle. So things are a little scary around the world right now. So there's a large number of dudes who are, my initial thought too is like these internet dudes that make money and like all they do is sit inside. It's like, dude, you're gonna be a target. Like you need to be getting to the gym. 1, 2, learn how to fight with your hands, and then 3, learn how to fight with a gun. It's like, those are the kind of people that I would want to bring out. We can get some good courses built up for them, and then obviously go into more tactical stuff, like battle drills eventually one day, and night vision, combined arms, freaking maybe we can get some company machine guns and run a company support by fire, or not a company, but a support by fire, stuff like that. But the range thing stuff too, I've spoken about an idea of like a combined gym range where it's like, you can come in, hit the gym, check your guns in, go to the range, or check your guns and go to the gym, check them back out, hit the range, and then some kind of like social area where you can like network and meet like-minded people who like being prepared. So it's kind of all stuff that I've been thinking about. When Brock was telling me that he's gonna go into alone, I'm like, well, you're gonna need a ranger buddy. You can't go to the range with a large group of inexperienced people with guns and not expect something bad to hopefully not happen. But an extra set of eyes and hands, and then so we're gonna be launching. I think we got video content, but we're gonna be filming some more and prepping an official launch video, which we'll post on this Instagram, which the links are gonna be down below for this. So all the people that have hit me up in the DMs like, oh bro, let's go shoot. It's like, all right, cool, we'll go shoot, but it ain't gonna be free. But you'll get a lot of value from it. It'll be fun, but you'll learn stuff. and we'll have the Instagram, the website. We'll have all that down below. The Facebook, you said?
Yeah,
you have a Facebook page? Okay,
yeah.
cool, perfect. We need to figure out the booking on that, how to get people. I think we can just have people just send an email initially, and we can just hand price things out kind of thing, and then send invoices. But anywho, that's not relevant to the podcast. Now we're game planning
Getting
things.
into
But
business.
that is kind of what we're doing in conjunction with, other projects I got going on. That's like your main focus right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's my main focus right now. So being out of the
grow
military,
up
just
fucking
being a
good.
dad and
Yeah,
an
dude,
instructor, like that's
kids
my
are fun.
goal.
I like your kids. They're fun to hang out with.
They're wild.
They're wild. They're wild, dude. I don't know how you do it. I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, they're climbing all over and fucking acting crazy.
Yep.
I'm not ready for that at this point in my life.
Yeah.
Just yet. So it's like, all right, cool. Like if I do want to go hang out and like
always
be an
welcome.
uncle, like, I got the spot.
Yeah. Need a little bit of birth control. Come on and hang over. Hang out. I'll send my kid over. He's a stud though. Being a 2-year-old, being as big as he is.
Yeah, I know. He acts older than 2. It's a funny thing.
Freaking that kid's ready to shoot. I got him a little freaking
Little gun belt,
He'll do
little
shooter
compass
ready.
belt. Yeah.
Beep beep beep. He gets up there and goes.
I mean, then that's kind of how I got. I think I might have talked about this in previous podcasts, but like, I think the reason I got good at pistol was I got my first like airsoft pistol when I was like in 7th grade, 6th grade, 6th grade going to 7th grade, and the whole summer I was just in my house. I built myself a little indoor range in my house,
Hell yeah.
and I was just shooting in the prone with this little 1911 Springer clear pistol.
Yeah.
You had to rack it every single time, but I think
yeah.
that's kind of where I initially got my, I guess, skill at, or just like the repetition of just lining up the sights was really the biggest thing. Like you do that enough, even if it's with a shitty pistol, like you're gonna get good over time. But
that reminds me, I did this. I got one, but my household didn't care for like pistols. Like my dad was all about rifles. I was probably 13 or 14, and I remember the neighbor 2 doors down had at school. He had talked to me about an airsoft gun that he had, and I freaking went and bought it from him. So I was like, I snuck out at freaking like 9:30 at night or something, and went and bought this airsoft gun from him. Like I want to say it was like a Beretta looking. But it was the thing that I was so pumped about it. It was all metal, so it was like it was a real gun. Like, it was weighted and everything, and I was so pumped on. But yeah, that's probably where I freaking picked up starting shooting pistol too. It's just something like that. So. Wow,
well, we've been going for an hour and a half. You got any parting words, parting comments, advice to the younger generation of Rangers who are some of them watching right now?
Yeah. I think the biggest thing going through like any selection that you're going to be going through to get into where you're wanting to be. I know that's a lot of like really open-ended starting to go into this, but always know that there is an end and take it just like freaking me for rucking. If it's got to be the light poles, take off that next little chunk. If it's to lunch, if it's to breakfast, it's to the next workout, if it's to that thing, like set these little benchmarks, because you have to have each of those benchmarks hit before the end of the day. So if it gets shitty, set short ones. If it's not shitty, like set long ones. But always know that there's gonna be an end to shit, and at the end of the day, like it's gonna be a gut check. Like that's some of the biggest things going through these selections is, one, prepare yourself. Like flat out prepare yourself. If you go into this off the couch thinking that you're gonna freaking go in and crush something like this, probably not gonna happen. But it's like if you go in actually spending time to prepare for it and actually like paying your dues, it's a big thing that I've like come to find out is like, if you want to get good at shooting, pay your dues. Like spend the time getting good at it. You want to get good at reloads, spend thousands of times fucking reloading. If you want to get good at freaking draws, spend thousands of times doing it. But it's like, if you want to get good at passing a selection, set yourself up for success. Start doing multiple push-up sessions. Start doing multiple running sessions. Start doing those things that you're putting your body to the most stress that you can put on, so that when you come into something that's easier or hard, but it's easier than what you've put yourself through, then it's not a question. And I think that's one thing that going into freaking any of these selections that I went through was prepping myself like that. Like I prepped myself for the worst case scenario, and planned for that and prepped for that. But then anything else from that was a walk in the park because I had mentally prepped myself for something worse.
Yep. It's the fucking the old adage of how do you eat an elephant?
Yeah.
One bite at a time.
One bite at a time.
That's I read that in some book about some selection somewhere before I joined, and that's kind of what stuck through me.
Yeah.
It's just like, hey, I don't have to worry about, like, you get overwhelmed when you show up to 30th AG and you're like, oh my God, I have to do this forever. Yep. And this isn't even the hard part yet. And you can get in your head about that. But it's like, all right, cool. Well, I only need to make it to basic. And then, I just need to make it through the next day of basic. And then before you know it, you got your tambourine on. And before you know it, you're getting out of the fucking army. It's fucking wild. But cool. Appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.
More from us.
There'll be a lot more from us coming soon.
For sure. So stay tuned for that, and we'll catch everyone later.